right. Shalom, shalom. I'd like to start off by saying Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah Yahawah Shai, Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah Yahawah Shai, Kol Haloim Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahawah Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who were well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered abroad, the Akim and the Akwat that's listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing that the lesson is edifying. It's the brother Shuab Amawam back at you with another lesson. And the title of this lesson is going to be called Suffering and Misery. And I was basically, I was just thinking about, when I was at camp yesterday and, dealing with these scoffers and, little things like that, had me just thinking about how, we really do come out, we are really born, and also brought into this ministry to literally suffer, man, and, just us being alive, we're born into misery, because everything is so, vexing through the spirit. We went off so much, back in the ancient times, that we have to pay for the things that we have done, just like Yahushua had to, endure the cross, and he went up for the sins that he committed and all that first, and then for Israel, it's the same thing that we're going through. We have to endure the things that we're going through because these are sufferings that we have to face, because at one point we were wicked, you see. But even off of that, like I said, just being born, because we are the chosen people, we're automatically born into misery. I'm learning that more and more, like that life really ain't a game. Life ain't really about having fun and living your best life and, YOLO, you only live once. And nah, man, we're really put on this earth for a purpose, man, to learn, how to really live in a righteous manner, in a righteous way, so that's pretty much how I came up with the title. But let's start off with let me get I'll start off with Job. Oh, it's like, you know what? Let me get that screen record on right now. There you go. This is Job 14:1. So like 14:1, and it says, "Man that is born of a woman is of a few days and full of trouble." You see, so the moment that we are born, all right, we're literally born into trouble, man. All right, and to better even explain that, you go to Ecclesiasticus 40. I'll start at the top, and it says, "Great travail is created for every man, and an heavy yoke is upon the sons of Adam, from the day that they go out of their mother's womb till the day that they return to the mother of all things." Meaning going back to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. So from the beginning of us being born, man, all right, great travails created for us. And it says, "Their imagination of things to come and the day of death trouble their thoughts and cause fear of heart." All right, and you see, that's why everything is really misery around us, man. And it says, "From him that sitteth on the throne of glory unto him that is humbled in earth and ashes, For him that weareth purple and a crown unto him that is clothed with a linen frock, wrath and envy, trouble and unquietness, fear of death, anger and strife, and in the time of rest upon his bed, his night sleep does change his knowledge. You see, a little or nothing is his rest, and afterward he is in his sleep, as in a day of keeping watch, troubled in the vision of his heart, as if he were escaped out of a battle. Ecclesiasticus is juicy. All right. And it says, when all is safe, he awaketh and marveleth that the fear was nothing, you know. And it says, such things happen unto all flesh, both man and beast, and this is and that Salaki, and that is sevenfold more upon the sinners. And it says, death and bloodshed, strife and sword, calamities, famine, tribulation, and the scourge. These things are created for the wicked, and for their sakes came the flood. Right, of course, because see, it's worse for the wicked, you know, because if we're gonna suffer regardless, all right, but you want to suffer for righteous sake, like it tells you in let me get that back out again. Peter's, Second Peter's, let's get that. I mean, Salakia, First Peter's 11, and it says 11, yeah, and it says, let him eschew evil and do good, let him seek peace and ensue it. You see, because you want to stay away from the wickedness, you know, just like it tells you in Psalms, I think it's 1. Psalms 1, it says, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law does he meditate day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted from a river, by the rivers of water, that bring forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he does shall prosper. You see, because you want to stay away from the wickedness, man. All right. Matter of fact, you gotta, like it tells you in Amos, what is that, 5, I think it is, hate the evil. All right. Yeah, 14, it says, seek good and not evil, that ye may live. And so the Lord, the power of hosts, shall be with you, as he has spoken. Hate the evil and love the good, and establish judgment in the gate. It may be that the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua of hosts will be gracious unto the remnant of Joseph. You see, so you got to hate the evil, man. You got to stay away from that. All right. So going back to First Peter's 3 and 11, it says, let him eschew evil and do good. Let him seek peace and ensue it. For the eyes of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua are over the righteous, and his ears are open unto their prayers. But the face of the Lord is against them that do evil. You see, so hey, just like it says, the eyes of the Lord is upon the sinful kingdom, man. All right. And then it says after that, and who is he that will harm you, if ye be followers of that which is good? But if ye suffer, all right, because at the end of the day, we all got to suffer, man. We all brought here to suffer, okay? It says, but if ye suffer for righteousness' sake, happy are ye, and be not afraid of their terror, neither be troubled. All right, because if you're gonna suffer, you're gonna suffer regardless. But you want to suffer for righteous sake, man. You don't want to be on the wicked side, all right? Because hey, y'all, it's a terrible thing to fall into the hands of the living power, man. All right. So like going back to First Peter's, but if ye suffer for righteousness' sake, happy are ye. All right. So at the end of the day, yeah, we're suffering and we're going through, misery and all that. But see, we're happy for that because especially for the the people that are into this truth right now, man. All right. The sufferings that we're going through now is a beautiful thing because we have something that's, Lord willing, we have that number. We're gonna be rewarded greatly for these things. Just like it tells you in Romans 8 and Romans 8 and 18. It says what? It says, for I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. You see? So the things these things that we're going through, man, is just for a short time, man. All right. It's all the trial of our faith at the end of the day. And the sufferings that we're going through, which we all gonna have to suffer. All right. You rather suffer in righteousness and then be dealt with chastisement and things like that than to be dealt with the way Yahweh is going to deal with the wicked, and he's been pouring judgment upon the wicked as we speak. Every day does he bring forth judgment to the light, like it tells you in Zephaniah 3 and 5. All right. So let me read this again, Romans 8 and 18. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time, all right, are not worthy to be compared with the glory that which shall be revealed in us. All right. So going back to First Peter 3 and 14. But if ye suffer for righteousness' sake, happy are ye. All right. And we're happy that, we have to take it cheerfully when we're brought down to a low estate. All right. Despise not the chastening of the Lord. All right, because at the end of the day, gold is tried in the fire. And again, we were called into this ministry to suffer, all right, for the wickedness that we have committed in our past lives, and things like that. And it says, and be not afraid of their terror, neither be troubled. All right. But sanctify the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua in your hearts, and be ready always to give an answer to every man that asketh you a reason of the hope that is in you with meekness and fear. All right. Having a good conscience, that whereas they speak evil of you as of evildoers, they may be ashamed that falsely accuse your good conversation in Yahweh Mashiach. You see, so at the end of the day, these people gonna speak, man. They gonna speak evil of us, but they gonna be confounded, man. They gonna be ashamed later. All right. They gonna every idle word that a man shall speak, they're gonna be held accountable of it in the day of judgment. And it says, for it is better if the will of Yahweh be so that ye suffer for well doing than for evil doing. You see? So again, going back to, you want to suffer for righteousness' sake, all right? And at the end of the day, we all gonna suffer. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, man, because we are the true chosen people, man. We are that holy people that Yahweh Bashim Yahushua has chosen us above all these other nations, all right? So going back to Ecclesiasticus 40 and 10, and it says, these are created for the wicked, and for their sakes came the flood. Exactly, just like, and just like the time of Noah, the wicked, all right, the flood came for the wicked, was the same thing today. We're pretty much building that spiritual ark over and over and over. I mean, it's like we're building that spiritual ark now, and that flood is about to be on its way. All right. And what's going to happen? That flood, instead of coming with water, is reserved for fire. You see, matter of fact, let me get that real quick. This is Second Peter's 3 and 6. Whereby the world that then was being overflowed with water perished, but the heavens of the earth and the earth, which are now by the same word, all right, are kept in store, reserved and unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. So, you know, the same word that was being preached by Noah, all right, is being preached by us today. You see? And that flood is going to be by the way of them nuclear missiles, man, them ICBM missiles. All right. Also through, Jacob's trouble and things like that. All right. So they that are, ungodly men, they're going to meet the day of their judgment, as as the scriptures say. All right. Going back to Ecclesiasticus 40 and 10, these things are created for the wicked, and for their sakes came the flood. All things that are of the earth shall turn to the earth again, and that which is of the waters does return into the sea. All bribery and injustice shall be blotted out, but true dealing shall endure forever. You see? And meaning what? That all the wickedness that's being pushed out here, all right, especially by the so-called white man, all right, and the wickedness of our people, which they have passed the deeds of the wicked. they're like beyond wicked nowadays. All right, they're all gonna be blotted out, and the true dealing shall endure forever. Which that reminds me of Second Ezra's 6 and 27, and it says, "For evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, it shall flourish, corruption shall be overcome, and the truth which has been so long without fruit shall be declared." You see, so all the wickedness, man, is going to be blotted out from the earth. All right, and everything's going to come into what? To righteousness, the way it should be. All right, the way we should be moving, and we're not going to be able to have that misery spirit anymore. All right, now we're not going to be no more into what was the other one? Suffering. We're not going to be suffering anymore. You see, and that's what we should all strive for, man. Because if you're not striving for you not to suffer anymore, then that means you're content with the ways of this society, man. You're content doing all this wickedness, all right? And you pretty much want to continue living in this damn society, man. But the true followers of Yahawashi Hamashiach, all right, of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, don't want to be here anymore, man. And we're tired of constantly suffering over and over and over and over again. You see? Again, we were put on here to suffer, and that's all we do, man. Since we're born, we're constantly suffering in so many ways. Jake can never get ahead. No matter what we do, we're gonna always be back at the bottom. You see? Even if you think that you making it out there because you got a little bit of money and you being a little successful, but at the end of the day, all that success and all that little bit of money you got it has wickedness that comes behind it, man. All right. Being successful and being rich is being rich in knowledge, man. Having this truth, and being able to understand life and what's our true purpose on here, man, out here. That's where it really comes into hand of you being rich and, having great success. That's what we should all want to be at. Right? Because now you at peace with yourself. You're at peace with your mind. Right? You're at peace with Yahweh Bashim Yahushua because he is thankful for you being a true servant, man. and doing what was required of us from the beginning, man, to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. All right. But you know, let me go into let me see, I got a couple things written in my notes. Let's go to Ecclesiastes, all right, to prove more that we're meant to come out here and suffer. All right. Ecclesiastes 2. Let me see what I got here. Hmm. Um 21, and it says, for there is a man whose labor is in wisdom and in knowledge and in equity. All right. And it says, yet to a man that has not labored therein shall he leave it for his portion. This is also vanity and a great evil. It says, for what has man of all his labor and of the vexation of his heart wherein he has labored under the sun? For all his days are sorrows, and his travail grief. Yea, his heart taketh not rest in the night. This is also vanity. See, so again, man, all our days is full of sorrows, man, and grief. All right, great travail. All right, because that's what we're meant to do, man, to come out here and suffer. All right, matter of fact, since we're in Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes 8 and 6, and it says, because to every purpose there is a time and judgment, therefore the misery of man is great upon them. You see, the misery of man is great upon them. Again, we're meant to suffer and live in misery, man. All right. That's why, matter of fact, that's why look at Job, man. And when you take the accounts of Job, man, Job went through a lot. And Job even said it in third chapter, man, how that why didn't he just die from the womb? It was better, it was pretty much better for you to be dead, man, than to come out here and live when from the beginning, man, everything is just pure misery. All right, as a matter of fact, let me get that also with get that in Ecclesiasticus 30. Set that up. All right, here. This is Job chapter 3 and chapter 1. Chapter 3 and verse 1. And it says, after this, opened Job his mouth and cursed his day. All right. And this is why you don't celebrate things like birthdays and shit like that, man, because the moment you are born, man, it's a curse, literally, upon upon the Israelites. To even bring that out, it tells you that in Psalms 51. Psalms 51 and where is it at? 5. It says, behold, I was shapen in an iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. You see? So from the gate, man, we're born into sin. All right. We're born into all that misery and everything. All right. So that's why Job cursed the day of his birth. All right. And that's why you're not supposed to celebrate, those your birthdays, man. It's a curse to be born, basically. All right. So going back, it says, after this, opened Job his mouth and cursed his day. And Job spake and said, let the day perish wherein I was born, and the night in which it was said, there is a man child conceived. Let the day be darkness, let not Yahweh regard it from above, neither let the light shine upon it. Let darkness and the shadow of death stain it. Let a cloud dwell upon it. Let the blackness of the day terrify it. As for that night, let darkness seize upon it. Let it not be joined unto the days of the year. Let it not come into the number of the months. Let that night be solitary. Let no joyful voice come therein. Let them curse. It is that curse the day who are ready to raise up their mourning. Let the stars of the twilight therefore be dark. Let it look for light, but have none. Neither let it see the dawning of the day, because it shut not up the doors of my mother's womb, nor hid sorrow from mine eyes. Why died I not from the womb? Why did I not give up the ghost when I came out of the belly? You see, so he basically saying, why didn't I just take death, man? Why didn't I die while I was in my mother's womb, man? Because he didn't want to be there. All right. And going into Ecclesiasticus 40 and I mean Salaki, did I say 40 30 and 17, it says death is better than Salaki, death is better than a bitter life or continual sickness, man. All right, and that's what we live, man. We live a bitter life, a life of misery, a life of suffering. You see, so sometimes it almost feels like it'd be better to be in the spirit world, man. It'd be better to just be dead. All right, because it's constant that we keep suffering and going through the same things over and over and over again, man. We get up for a little bit and then we always get brought back down. All right, because why? That's the curse that's upon the Israelite man, and the Israelites, period. Okay. Matter of fact, let me give me 1 second. Gotta get my Bible. Which I don't know where my Bible's at. Oh, I know where it is. Damn, it's outside of my car. That's all right. Let me see. I think it's Ecclesiasticus 40. Is it 43? Give me 1 second. 41, it says, "O death." It says, "O death, how bitter is the remembrance of thee to a man that liveth at rest in his possessions, unto the man that holdeth nothing to vex him, and that has prosperity in all things, yea, unto him that is yet able to receive meat. Says, O death, acceptable is thy sentence unto the needy, and unto him whose strength faileth, that is now in his last age, and is vexed with all things, and to him that despaireth and has lost patience. All right. Fear not the sentence of death. Remember them that have been before thee, and that come after, for this is the sentence of the Lord over all flesh. All right. But yes, that's good right there. But again, sometimes it's because we're so vexed in the spirit, man. Sometimes it almost feels like it's better to be, in the spirit world where everything is all good. You ain't got no worries when you're in the spirit world. So that's why Job was coming out the way he did, man. All right. And he said, why did back to Job 3:12, and it says, why did the knees prevent me, and why the breast that I should suck? For now should I have lain still and been quiet, I should have slept, then had I been at rest. And that's the thing that we don't get, man. We don't get true rest out here. All right, because we're constantly worrying. We're constantly, especially if you're in this truth, man, you're constantly thinking about the things that are to come, which at the end of the day, we don't worry about them, because if you're doing the righteous things, all right, that are required, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai he gonna deliver you. Lord willing, you are the elect, all right? But we still think about the things that are about to come upon us, because we got to constantly keep ourselves, stable in the truth. We got to constantly keep ourselves pushing, all right? Those that endure to the end are the ones that are going to be saved. So, it's a battle between you and the spirit against the flesh every single day. We always, because we have that fear of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, we're going to always be worrying in the back of our mind and make sure that we're doing the things that are required for us to receive salvation. All right. But let me get Salakia. Let me get since I was talking about Job's, he was cursing his day. All right. Tells you in Ecclesiastes 7:1, a good name is better than precious ointment, all right, and the day of death than the day of one's birth. You see, it is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting, for that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart. And exactly, man, that's the spirit that we're supposed to be in right now, man. In the house of mourning, then to the house of feasting, the house of mirth and things like that. Because life ain't a joke, man. Life really ain't about having fun. See, we were doing all that wickedness and trying to live up life because that's the way society portrays life to be. That is all about, live your best life, and you only live once, so if you only live once, live it up, have fun, do all the things you want to do before you die. But that's because these damn devils ain't got no understanding of the scriptures, man, and they don't know what happens when, when you go through death and things like that. They don't understand that reincarnation, that you come back, and when you die is when the true judgment comes, because after you die, you go back to the spirit world, and then you come back every 3-4 generations, and that's when your judgment begins. Like it tells you in I think that's in Second Ezra's. It's in Second Ezra's. I forgot which one exactly. I think it's in. Is it 7? 7:56. Yeah, 56. It says, "For while we lived and committed iniquity, we considered not that we should begin to suffer for it after death." You see, and that's when the judgment comes. Just like it tells you. Let me keep reading that real quick. And it says, "Then answered he me and said, This is the condition of the battle, which man is born upon the earth, that which is born upon the earth shall fight." You see, and that exactly, we're brought every time to live on earth, man, to pretty much suffer, man. That's that battle that we have to go through. We have to battle, we have to go through the judgment because of the things we did in our past lives. Matter of fact, let me get that. That's in damn, how's it go again? Salaki, I got it on the tip of my tongue too. It doesn't want to come out. Oh, when we shall live again, KJV. Second Ezra 14:35. And it says, "For after death shall the judgment come, when we shall live again, and then shall the names of the righteous be manifest, and the works of the ungodly shall be declared." You see? And that's why a lot of people, go through, some people die young, real young, because it's all judgment for the things that you did in your past life, man. And again, this damn devil has taught us that you don't live reincarnation, that you only live one life, and that you have to enjoy it, while you on earth. That's how this wicked man, moves. And he tells you that in I think it's Wisdom of Solomon. Wisdom of Solomon 2, I believe it is. Yeah, it says 2:1. It says, for the ungodly said, reasoning with themselves, but not aright. Our life is short and tedious, and in the death of man there is no remedy. Neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave. You see, that's how these damn devils move, man. So they teach you to live your life, you that YOLO spirit, man. You only live once, so do what you're supposed to do. All right, what you want to do while you're here. And it says, make sure. It says, I'll keep reading. It says, for we are born all at adventure, and we shall be hereafter as though we had never been. For the breath in our nostrils is as smoke, and is a little spark in the moving of our heart, which being extinguished, our body shall return into ashes, and our spirit shall vanish as the soft air. And our name shall be forgotten in time, and no man shall have our works in remembrance, and our life shall pass away as the trace, Salaki, as the trace of a cloud, and shall be dispersed as a mist that is driven away with the beams of the sun, and overcome with the heat thereof. For our time is a very shadow that passeth away, and after our end there is no returning. For it is fast sealed, and that no man cometh again. Come on, therefore, let us enjoy the good things that are present, and let us speedily use the creatures like as in youth. Let us fill ourselves with costly wine and ointments, and let no flower of the spring pass us by. Let us crown ourselves with rosebuds before they be withered. Let none of us go without his part of our voluptuousness. Let us leave tokens of our joyfulness in every place, and this is our portion, and our lot is this. You see, so that's how they literally think. That's that YOLO spirit right there. To fill yourselves with costly wine, man, with ointments. Let not a moment pass us by. You see, he said it says, come on, therefore, let us enjoy the good things that are present. So that's why we always had that mentality of, we're not here to come and suffer. But in all reality, man, the more we think about it, the more you're in this truth, and you realize what's your true purpose, man. You realize that, damn, man, we really out here to suffer, man. You see? And that's why once you get into this truth, you realize how vexing this world is to the spirit, because this is like, man, we just in constant misery out here. And at the end of the day, you see the wicked that's always prospering, But what does it tell you in the scriptures? Not to envy the oppressor, envy not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. You're not supposed to, be salty because the wicked is moving ahead in life, which they really ain't, because at the end of the day, their works are they're gonna be brought down to naught, man. They're gonna be destroyed. You see? So while we're suffering here in righteousness, all right, we're gonna be rewarded for that later. While they continue to keep prospering, but they're prospering in wickedness, man, they're just gonna be destroyed on a heavy note. Shalom, brother. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah Barakatah. All right. Beautiful. That's actually one of the things I had up in my mind. The water. That's the spirit. First Peter's 4:13. All right. Let me open this up. I didn't think about that. 4:13, it says, but rejoice in as much as we are partakers of Hamashiach's sufferings, that when his glory shall be revealed, ye may be glad also with exceeding joy. You see, so we suffer for Yahweh's sake, man. All right, but at the end of the day, man, we're gonna be able to enjoy everything. All right, and especially like if you have the 144,000, man, we're gonna be able to drink and celebrate with Yahweh Shai, man. See, that's a beautiful thing. In all righteousness, you know, we're gonna be reigning with him. That's a beautiful thing to hear. All right. And then after that, this earth is just gonna be set in all righteousness where we ain't gotta worry ever again. You don't have to worry. Let me get that. That's in I believe that's in Revelations. Um, how does it go again? Where we shall suffer no more. KJV. Yeah, Revelations 20, yep. 21. Get it from here. Revelations 21 and and 4. I'll start at the top, and it says, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth, and the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. All right. And it says, and I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, all right, coming down from so like coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of Yahweh is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua himself shall be with them and be their power. And it says, and Yahweh shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. You see, so just to hear that, man, that's a beautiful thing. All right, because again, we are born in misery, man. We are born to suffer, and that's one of the that's something that all brothers and sisters that's in this truth would just want to just completely be out of their mind, man, to not worry no more. You know, just worrying alone, it vexes your spirit. You know, you constantly, and you know, when you worry, it bothers your mental, man. All right. That's why, like it says, we don't ever have rest, good rest, and things like that. See, when there's no more worries, no more sorrow, no more tears, anything like, can you imagine the sleep we gonna have? Oh man. You know, when I think of that, I think about how these bears be hibernating. When bears hibernate, they go hide themselves for like 6 months and just sleep all day. That's how we gonna be. You see, we gonna really be able to sleep. We're gonna have our kids running around all over the place and ain't got nothing to worry about. You know, you ain't gotta worry about nobody taking them. You ain't gotta worry about Esau and his fucking wickedness. You know, coming to install some type of wicked ass philosophy in your kids or anything like that. Nah, man. Everything's gonna be back to righteousness. That's why it says when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. When the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn, man. All right. So as long as that we're in under captivity, man, under this damn devil, we're gonna always be mourning. All right. And as long as we in these vile ass bodies, all right, we're gonna continue to keep suffering more and more and more. And that's why we want Yahweh to come back, you know, and get us out of this captivity once and for all, man, and for righteousness to be established on the earth. All right. So again, going back, see if brother had anything. All right. Going back to Ecclesiastes 7:2, it is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting, for that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it into his heart. You see, so that's the spirit we need to be in, man, in the house of mourning. All right. Constantly weeping, crying to the Lord, man, to get us up out of here. All right. Let me see what else it has there. Sorrow, this is 3. Sorrow is better than laughter, for by the sadness of the countenance, by the sadness of the countenance, the heart is made better. You see, so even though we're going through those sorrows and those those tribulations and them sufferings, man, it's better than being in that spirit of laughing, because ain't nothing funny, man. Life ain't funny. You see, when we were wicked, we thought it was funny. But see, look at the times that we in now, man. This place is about to be brought down to naught. And if you're not right in your spirit, you're gonna be brought down with it. So how can this really be a time of laughing, man? That's why it tells you in the scriptures that the mirth of the land is gone, right? You can't. There is no time to laugh no more, man. All smiles have been turned to upside down frowns, man. So it's like people got to get their spirit right. It says the heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of mirth. You see? So if you in that weeping spirit onto Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, you're considered wise, man. All right. But if you in the house of living it up, just like we just read in Salakia, Wisdom of Solomon 2, all right, then you a fool because you in the house of mirth. Seven. Beautiful. Surely oppression maketh the wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart. You see? And with oppression comes what? You know, that suffering, that misery. All right. And now that we have this wisdom, that we have this truth, and we understand life, yeah, we realize that life ain't fun, man. Life ain't fun and games. That's why it tells you in is it in this chapter? No, I think it's in the first chapter. Yeah, it is in the first chapter. Ecclesiastes 1:18, for in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow. See, so the more you get this knowledge, man, the more you get this wisdom, and you realize what life is really about, the more suffering comes upon your mind, man. The more sorrow and grief you get. All right, let me go into Philippians, to prove more that, you know, we here to suffer. Philippians 1:29, and it says, yeah, 29, it says, for unto you it is given in the behalf of Yahawashi HaMashiach, not only to believe on him, but also to suffer for his sake. You see, we have to suffer for his sake. Yahawashi suffered for us. We got to suffer for him in return, man. All right. It says, having the same conflict which ye saw in me, and now here to be in me. All right. So we got to go through them same steps, man. If we want the kingdom, we got to go through the same steps that Yahawashi went through, man. Let's go to First Peter's 4:1, and it says, For as much then as Yahawashi has suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind. You see, we have to arm ourselves with the same mind. So if he suffered for us, all right, we gonna have to suffer for him. Like I just said, we got to arm ourselves with the same mind. And it says, for he that suffered in the flesh has ceased from sin. You see, and that's why we are suffering, man. That's why we're brought into this ministry to suffer, because we were wicked at one point and we were constantly sinning. But now that we have transformed our mind, all right, and we're no longer walking in that spirit of the flesh, all right. Now we're walking in the spirit, man. So now we have to suffer for those things that we were committing, for those sins that we committed in our past lives. All right. So that's why we got to constantly ask Yahawashi, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, to have mercy upon us, man. bring this out. This is Psalms 57:2. I will cry unto the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, unto Yahweh that performeth all things for me. Exactly. And that's what we're supposed to be doing. Instead of being in that, house of mirth spirit, we're supposed to constantly be crying onto Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai to deliver us up out of here. You see, that's why it tells you in where's that? Damn, I forgot what that one was. Ezekiel, I think it's Ezekiel. Ezekiel 9:4. That's right. This is 9:4, and it says, and the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. You see? So you want that mark, which that goes into the why, man, that mark of redemption, all right? That we are taken away from us being destroyed. And who's going to be the ones that get the mark? All right, the why is going to be the ones that sigh and cry unto the Lord continually, man, over and over and over again. There's another scripture like that too. That continually cry, KJV. That's right. This is 2 Ezra 15:8. It says, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. And that's what we're doing, constantly crying, and we're constantly complaining onto the Lord, man, to get us up out of here. Because we were once wicked, but now we will be considered as that innocent now, because we have transformed our minds and we're walking in the spirit now. All right. So what did Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai say? He said he will turn his face from your iniquities, man. He will blot out all your transgressions. Okay. So back to 1 Peter 4:1. For as much then as Yahawashi Hamashiach has suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind. For he that suffered in the flesh has ceased from sin, that he no longer should live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lust of men, but to the will of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. You see? And that's what we want to be, in that spirit of just spiritual thoughts, man. No more walking in that flesh, because those that walk in the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, man. All right, but we walking in the spirit to the best of our ability, so we want the things of the spirit. All right. Let me get 1 second. Yeah, this is 10, and it says 1 Peter 5:10. It says, but the power of all grace, who has called us into his eternal glory by Yahawashi Hamashiach, after that ye have suffered a while, make you perfect, establish, strengthen, settle you. You see? So again, suffering, man. And that's why we do suffer and go through the things that we go through, because we're being broken down to be made perfect. For when Yahawashi cracked them clouds, man, we're basically that perfect sacrifice unto him. You see? So we have to, in order for us to be that perfect sacrifice, we got to suffer. And we can't we can't despise the chastening of the Lord. This is 3. Three and 17, and it says, oh yeah. Matter of fact, I brought this out earlier. Salakia. I did bring this out earlier. That's what I was thinking when I did say it. Let me go to 19. This is 1 Peter 4:19. Wherefore let them that suffer according to the will of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua commit the keeping of their souls to him in well-doing as unto a faithful creator. You see, going back to what, like we said earlier, man, you're going to suffer because we all got to suffer regardless. You want to suffer for righteousness' sake. All right. You don't want to be, you don't want to be on that wicked mode, man. Because it says here, let them suffer according to the will of Yahweh, all right, for righteousness' sake, commit the keeping of their souls, man. So you're able to keep your soul, all right. You're able to reach salvation if you suffer for righteousness' sake. This is Second Thessalonians 1 and 5, and it says, which is a manifest token of the righteous judgment of Yahweh, that ye may be counted worthy of the kingdom of Yahweh, for which ye also suffer. You see, seeing it is a righteous thing with Yahweh to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you. All right. And those that were being, disrespectful unto us, scoffers and laughing, and hey man, Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua is gonna let them have it, man. All right, but while we're here, we gotta suffer. We're fools for Yahushua's sake. And as a matter of fact, what does it tell you in I think it's in Acts? I believe it's Acts 4. 4. Get it right now. Through much tribulation, KJV. Oh, 14. Salakia. Oops. This is I hate when I don't bring it up like that. This is Acts 14 and 22. And it says, conforming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua. All right. And what is that tribulation going into, man? Different types of chastisements, the sufferings that we go through, all right, the persecutions, all right, the scoffing, the people that laugh at us, all right. That's all misery, man. That's all misery and suffering that we got to go through. But it says through much tribulation, all right, we're gonna be able to. That's how we're gonna be able to enter into the kingdom, man, through much tribulation. So if you ain't going through any of these type of things, you're not gonna make it, man. All right. Let me go into a couple more precepts, and that's pretty much the point. Select First Thessalonians. This is First Thessalonians 3 and 4, and it says, "For verily, when we were with you, we told you before that we should suffer tribulation, even as it came to pass, and ye know." All right. So again, these were things that were told to us, that we were going to suffer tribulations, man, being in this truth. That's why you got to count the cost of when you're coming into this truth. All right. If you're coming into this truth, you got to know exactly what's coming with it. That's why it tells you that this truth is a bittersweet thing, man. It's sweet to know that you're an Israelite, and it's a beautiful thing to know the word of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, but it becomes bitter, man. When you eat this roll, man, it becomes bitter in your belly, because then you realize that this truth, you know, and it was written there in KJV. All right, like it tells you in Ezekiel 10 and 2 and 10, and he spread it before me, and it was written within and without, and there was written therein lamentations, mourning, and woe. You see, lamentations, mournings, and woe, man. Destruction, tears in these scriptures. All right, lamentations going into what? Stressing and things like that. It's stressful to know this truth, man. All right, because everything that's in it is got to do with misery, destruction, them sufferings. Brother put out Mark 13 and 13, "And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved." Exactly. And we're gonna be hated, man. That's part of that's one of the persecutions that we got to go through. You see? But none of those things are gonna separate us from the love of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, man. Like it tells you in Romans 8 and 35. And it says, "Who shall separate us from the love of Yahweh HaMashiach? Shall tribulation, or distress, or persecution, or famine, or nakedness, or peril, or sword? As it is written, for thy sake we are killed all day long. We are accounted as sheep for the slaughter. Nay, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him that loved us. For I am persuaded that neither death, nor life, nor angels, nor principalities, nor powers, nor things present, nor things to come, nor height, nor depth, or any other creature shall be able to separate us from the love of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai," which is in Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, man. You see, none of these things are going to be able to separate us from the truth. So even though we're suffering and going through all these things, all right, being persecuted by people, all right, being brought down to a lower state, because, we're going through humility, humility before honor. All right, none of these things are going to be able to separate us from the truth, because we're going to take cheerfully what is brought upon us, man, because gold is tried in the fire. All right. So again, First Thessalonians 3 and 4, "For verily when we were with you, we told you before that we should suffer tribulation, even as it came to pass, and ye know." All right. Let me get this is First Timothy 4 and 10, and it says, "For therefore we both labor and suffer reproach, because we trust in the living power, who is the Savior of all men, especially of those that believe." You see? So Yahweh Bashim Yahushua said what? That we got to suffer for these things, but in us suffer and us suffering, we're going to be rewarded something greatly, man. We're going to be rewarded that kingdom. All right. We're going to be rewarded that crown. And we believe that heavy. All right. We believe that 144% that Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah is not lying. Why? Because Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah is not a man that he shall lie. All right. So if he told us that something was going to happen, man, that's his word, man. His word never come back onto him void. All right, this is 2 Timothy 2. And 12, it says, if we suffer, we shall also reign with him. If we deny him, he also will deny us. And that's plain and simple, you see? So he said, if we suffer, okay, we going to also reign with him. And that's going back to what I was saying earlier, man. We're going to be able to sit down with Yahweh Shah, man, and celebrate, all right? Drink wine with them. Man, that's beautiful. This is 1 Corinthians 10 and 13. And it says, "10 and 13, it says, there has no temptation taken you, but such as in common to man. But Yahweh is faithful. He will not suffer you to be tempted above that you are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it." So, you know, at the end of the day, the things that we suffer for, man, it ain't nothing that we can't handle. All right. Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah is never gonna give us more than what we can't handle. And again, all these things that you know we go through is to break us down, but to build us up stronger and stronger every time, man, and it builds our faith. You see? But yeah, that's pretty much the point, man. So, you know, you ain't gotta worry about the sufferings that we're going through. We're going through it because it's meant to go, we're meant to go through these things, man. All right. But yeah, that's pretty much the point. All right. So with that being said, Lord willing, it was edifying. All right. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Call Haloim Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered abroad, the Akim and the Akwat that was listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing that the lesson was edifying. The water brother for tuning in, the water for the scriptures. I appreciate it. Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Barakatah. And may you keep fighting in the good fight of faith. All right. Till next one, Shalom.